the top left, we have the best player on the NS HoSeo lineup, the Terran, former champion. Yes.
NS HoSeo Jakji.
You know, Jakji doesn't really have a nickname besides Jakji. Like, he's like one of the only GSTL champions I can think of that doesn't really have a nickname.
He needs an asterisk and obelix nickname. With that nose, there is just no other choice.
Well, he's up against this guy. Very famous Zerg player he is.
LGIM Nesty.
I guess we could call Jakji the one-hit wonder Terran. But that's a bit mean. That's like not a good nickname.
Yeah, I actually thought about the same thing in German. If we go for the asterisk and obelix style, you would actually call him das war wohl nix. I don't know if you can translate that if your German is good enough, but it's like basically what you said, the one-hit wonder.
Well,
Germany! Whoa, 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 whoa! Camera to the left.
Korea is the best. And
oh yeah, here we go.
greets to Germany. Well,
awesome.
I like the Korea is the best sign,
that
but
nod and the thumbs up. Here we go.
I want to ask that guy how he feels about the weird hair that Kerrigan has and like the wings and all that stuff.
What do you mean?
You know.
No, I don't.
You know, she's got a little bit of zerginess to her.
That makes her so damn attractive.
I'm always scared that if I was dating Kerrigan, if we got into a fight, she just like used that one grip thing where she like pulls me up in the air and I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
You just need a little bit more testosterone, Wolf.
I don't know. she kind of freaks me out a little bit.
I see what you're saying.
She kind of like murdered a lot of people and caused a lot of problems, and it's not the girl for me.
Well, if you like bad girls, she's like the perfect woman.
I suppose so. Well, going into this, we have what you'd expect from Nesty, hatch first, but from Jakji, a little bit faster of a barracks. So he's doing an old Wings of Liberty build, one barracks expand.
You know, if you look at Jakji's history against Zerg players in Heart of the Swarm, he basically only played in the GSTL, and most of the matches were in the preseason. He lost to Bjal, but he took down Naxo and Shine, so pretty decent, not too bad. Nesty, on the other hand, he only faced, I mean, you look at his games against Terran in Heart of the Swarm, the offline matches, and you're like, oh, didn't win a single map, but then you look at his opponents, he lost against Innovation, and he lost against MVP. I think we can let those slide.
Yeah, I think so. This is one of the benefits you get from having a fast barracks, is having the ability to push that Overlord away. Obviously didn't kill it. Right now this SCV in the main base is so smart because he knows how much gas Nesty is mining, which by the way is up to 160 now with no speed. So he's got a plan he's cooking up right now. And when Nesty cooks up a plan, sometimes it's dangerous and delicious. I don't know. I'm just looking for words here. He cooked up a plan. Oh, the wall is open and Nesty gets in. He walks in. He has 200 gas now. Did he forget speed?
Huh?
Why does he have 200 gas?
Well, I don't know exactly what he's gonna wanna do here, but like, he could go for faster upgrades. It's sometimes that is something that we see sometimes. I don't think that he really forgot speed, but right now he's occupied taking down SCVs, something that he didn't think would be happening here.
2 lings for 2 SCVs is a great trade.
Yeah, there you go. Fast attack into lair. Invest just a lot more now into the drones and into the lair tech, so we are going to see speed eventually, but at this point with what he's scouted, he knows that he can play a little bit more greedy. He doesn't have to expect an early attack anytime soon, so he really just wants to make sure that he gets the fast attack. And you know, he could actually, I mean, if he's super greedy here, he could try to skip speed and go straight into tech. And with the extra gas that he's getting right now, it's an option. Roach Warren.
And the Overlord to the top right is ominous.
You know, Wolf, this is an awesome map to go for heavy Roach aggression.
Look at the way he's putting his Overlords. It looks like he wants to do something with a lot of Overlords to the top right. I don't know. It's not exactly clear because he's not started drop, of course.
He could go for the Roach drop build that we've seen by Ragnarok. It's an option. It's something that could do it. Here we go.
Yeah, that's
Roach
what it's going to be. He's hitting those Overlords really well.
Ragnarok did that very successfully in his Code A run, especially against players like, of course, Gumiho. We saw Symbol try to do the same thing against Innovation. Not all that successful, but still strong, and it's exactly what Nesty is going to do here. It's what he's trying to do.
He's making 4 Overseers right now. I think that might be a bit overkill.
We might actually see, I mean, I'm going on a limb here, but he might go for Contamination.
You know, that That actually makes sense.
Like, if you
Oh
want
my god. No, I think about it, I'm like, that's genius if you're going to do a build like this.
He might try to pull that off because, like, if he goes for contamination and just makes sure that there is no siege tanks, you know, the siege tank production is on right now. And if he has the overlords and can go for contamination, he needs, of course, a little bit more energy. He can contaminate that 4 times. And that means that the siege tank production is severely slowed down.
He could also, if he wanted to, contaminate the factory and the barracks and the starport all at once and then do it again, you know, if he builds up that energy.
Problem is that the Viking is coming out now, and Jagchi therefore has the perfect tool to just make this happen. He's also going for the drop with the Hellbats here. But yeah, I would really, with this many overlords, I feel we're going to see contamination from him.
Yeah, he's kind of camping them there waiting for that energy. The Hellbat drop defense is totally well prepared here.
Yeah, has everything in place.
He let the Hellion scout everything, but it doesn't really tell him about the drops.
And you know, this is the problem right now. He sees it and he's like, I can't use it. But that's what he wanted to go for. Contamination against the factory and then move in with the Lings, with the Roaches, with the drop. That's like the really cool choice.
He doesn't have speed just yet. There it goes. It's finished. You know, even though this has been scouted, can still be very hard to defend. He needs to turn a few Roaches around for this. Nice defense so far here. But Jagchi knows, and he's added more barracks. They're about to finish here. He should have the Marine production to hold this. It's all about where his siege tanks are positioned.
This is about the drop right now, and drop in the main base is strong, and later on you can drop on top of the siege tanks. I'm just disappointed we don't see the contamination because we had the Viking out. Yeah. Usually I'm really annoyed usually when the Terran player doesn't go for the Viking, but in this scenario I really wanted Jagchi to forget about it so that we see it, because it would just have been so cool.
It would have been so interesting.
But as it is, that drop is going to be strong. The siege tanks are not sieged up yet, so the transition is going to be a little bit faster, but here we go. He needs to identify that dropping on top of them would be strong for him.
Yeah, the Marines right now, no upgrades.
Dropping there is not a good idea.
Not a good idea at all. He's going to get into a choke point here, but there goes the Contaminate with those Overseers. Now he drops on top of the siege tanks.
Drops on top of them, the Contaminate. Is it going to do something I don't really...
I mean, it helps a little bit here to slow the production, but...
Nesty still has quite the leads here, I mean, especially in the worker count.
He's killing a lot more Harvesters as we speak, even.
He's taking down the siege tanks, so with a follow-up he could make this happen. The siege tanks are gone, and the siege tanks are the best weapon that Jagchi has against this.
Yeah, second wave is getting prepared here. He's got all the Overlords alive still. A few of them starting to fall, but that Viking can't kill all the Overlords.
The problem is the siege tanks are gone, so Jagchi with a really good choice going straight into Marauders. He realizes that with only one factory, he doesn't get enough siege tanks out in time, so he needs something else, and Marauders are the perfect choice. The Marines trying to make this happen, trying to force back those Overlords, but it's a little bit too late, and now we have the Roaches in the main base once again, but the Roaches are up against Marauders and Marines.
Yeah, there's so many units here in the main base this time, but can he really stabilize? Nest's aggression continues, and he's actually going to push the Marauders back.
And ST is going into the Locusts behind it. He's going into Swarm Hosts. He needs to make sure that he saves a few of those Overlords. The Roaches, they're still doing damage, and that's exactly what he needs. If he can't kill more Harvesters, that's all that he has to do here.
Just target down some of these Harvesters, keep Jagchi on the back foot while he builds that Swarm Host count back at home.
Jagchi is trying his best to make this defense happen, but Nesty is doing a lot of economic damage. He killed a couple of Harvesters in this game, in total 38, so this is really the edge that he has. Supply-wise, they are very close, and ST did not nearly do enough damage with this. Like, okay, let's rephrase this a little bit.
Yes.
He did a lot of damage, but he wanted to do a lot more. He was hoping to do a lot more damage, and he's a little bit ahead, but he's in a position where the balance might shift anytime if he makes a mistake.
I agree, and where he's at right now, supply-wise, does not necessarily reflect where he's at tech-wise, because with the type of tech he has coming out and the time he has, yes, Jagchi has a massive lead in army supply, but Nesty has the perfect defense being made as we speak, and Jagchi's not going to be able to fight this, really.
You know what a problem is for Jagchi? If Jagchi would have started with a build that gives him a third orbital, he would still be okay, because even though he has a much lesser Harvester count, he could rely on 3 mules. But he has only 2 CCs, and with only 2 CCs, it's much more difficult for him to catch up in this gap.
Yeah, very true. Stormos moving out. He has to be very careful about this, though, because Jagchi's army is not to be trifled with right now.
But I feel that he has enough Swarmos to make this happen. The damage to the economy is really significant if the Terran player does not have a third command center. And now with a double SCV production and ST hitting his third base, hitting the inject, it's going to be so tough. But an air battle or another wave of units dropping is probably not going to happen. There are just too many Vikings already just waiting for this to happen.
Yeah. Hydralisk then goes down, so he's going to use that to snipe any units that might want to drop on top. He can also use them for drop defense a little bit at home. I don't know exactly what... I think he's just going to keep them with the Storm Host, but he can also leave a few at home. This is a really cool style that Nesty has shown us, not only in the previous game, but in this game as well. I like that he is just changing things up.
One of the things where I really have to say that Nesty is lacking at this point is creep. Creep would help him to be a bit more mobile with those swarm hosts, and he doesn't have too many just yet. Here comes the Nidus network to make up for the lack of creep.
This is Jagchi's moment. He runs forward.
No, it's
oh, he already moved them. I was like,
yeah, it's good play.
I was getting really stressed.
He gets the one wave out. He forces the stim, so this is not too bad. But he's trying to make now up for the lack of creep with the Nidus network. But the mobility of the Terran player is becoming an issue here.
Yeah, definitely is. And he needs to make sure he micros his Marauders back. No reason to stim or to waste any of those hit points against the Locust.
Harvester count still heavily in favor of Nesty, and keep in mind that Jagchi did not get a third command center. He is still on 2 bases.
Yeah, he really just wants to break through here, it looks like.
Yeah, he wants to do damage with this, and he needs to. He has no other choice. He needs to do something. We have now even the Hydralisks coming in, and as long as he's somehow able to get those tanks under control, Hydralisks will melt away the bio units, because there's just not this critical mass that you want.
Exactly. Few Roaches testing the waters here, wants to find out exactly where the army is. Now has an Overlord on the right side too. Siege Tanks will eliminate some of the Locusts, but he can't kill all of them.
He's losing Marines now, and he has only a limited healing power with all those few medivacs that he has in the game.
Love the Roach run by here. He's going to catch Siege Tanks, anything that comes across the map.
And he could use the Nidus now. He could start to use that.
Yeah, I think he will once he gets those Roaches into the main.
Oh, there's not even a wall. He didn't lift the supply depots. That's bad. That's horrible.
This is horrible indeed. There's a drop in the main base though. Nesty needs to react. He pulls the drones away. He actually just fights here. He's got the Roaches now.
He has a couple of Roaches, but the big issue really, those Roaches are taking down additional SCVs now. That is a big, big problem for Jagchi.
Yeah, Jagchi looks like he's running out of steam here. His push is starting to get worn down by the Locusts. He's dropped down to now a half of Nesty's supply. Good target on the medevac there. And he will push these Roaches back, but he's just losing everything he's making.
Yeah, he can't mine at the natural right now. That's a big issue, and he's losing even more harvesters. As long as those Roaches now dodge to the bottom of the map, they can even take down more SCVs, and that's all that he has to do. With only one left, though.
Yeah, but he killed the orbital. The third orbital is gone.
Yeah, and now we have only 13 harvesters left for the HoSeo player. That's 13 SCVs and only 2 mules. Well, actually...
That was how many workers
oh, yeah, the kill count, sorry. Yeah,
he has 37.
I was a little bit freaked out. I was like, what? Only 13? That was a lot more than I just saw on screen. 37 are left. Jagchi killed 13, so I accidentally called up the wrong tab. Sorry for that.
Yeah, it's fine.
That push here, with the forward Nidus now, that could definitely end the game, because now suddenly there's something that will protect the Swarm Host, and that's something he didn't have with the last.
The Roaches, he's got the Hydra speed finishing up here, and the bunker is gone, and the next waves are really going to start to put a dent. He can even target the Siege Tanks with those Locusts.
A 4th base is coming up for ST, and as long as the Zerg player increases his count in Swarm Hosts and Roaches, he should be able to just wear Jagchi down.
He's going to start spreading creeps so the Locusts close the distance faster as well. Although he's going to have a problem with those Vikings. He needs the Hydras to come up. But Nesty is just, he's not putting all his eggs in one basket. He's transitioning here. He's getting the Karas upgrade, like you said, the 4th base.
With a drop here, oh wow, he wants to drop the tanks to take them out, and once the tanks are gone, I just don't know if it works against all those Marauders. I highly doubt that, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll find out. I don't think so either. If he can eliminate the Siege Tanks, though, it's what he wants. He gets 1, 2...
2 Siege Tanks. Here come the Locusts, but 2 tanks for this many Roaches?
Definitely not cost efficient, but I think that it's worth it in this case because he's so far ahead.
He doesn't have to be cost efficient. That is the big issue here. A 200 supply against 80 and 4 bases to back this up. High tech on the way, the switch into the Spire now.
Yeah, he's just going to go into Brewlords behind this. Jagchi with a flank, but still I don't think it's enough. Yeah,
those Locusts alone are going to wear him down, and he needs to take them out somehow, but he doesn't have the numbers.
Here they come, the Marauders, right when the Locust spawns. He tries to scan here, but no, absolutely not. We'll get 2. 2 for the price of more than 1.
Yeah, this is game at this point right now. He cannot take a third. He cannot break through. He doesn't have what it takes to move out. There is just not enough for him. He has no chance of moving down the ramp and facing those Swarm Hosts, taking them out. He's trying to just go for a counter drop, but he's also running out of minerals, and this is just something where he won't be able to recover. Even the contaminate now in the main base to make sure that no more siege tanks are moving in.
Roach
the
drop. This is beautiful here by
This is
Nesty.
checkmate.
I mean, exactly, it's checkmate. That's a good way to describe it because Nesty is just playing totally safe here, not making any mistakes. He's not actually going to attack with his Hydras. He doesn't have to. He can at some point very soon. Just going to go for a big drop here. This will likely end the game.
He has a 100 supply lead. And this is the end of the siege tanks, the end of the defense, the end of everything that Jakji had in the game going for him. This is the match that Nesty is winning right now with the 2-1 taking the lead for LGIM.
He will lose his hatchery, maybe, over on the right side. No, well, it doesn't even matter. That's the thing about it.
He has a 4.
So he doesn't lose the hatch. And Hydra's killing, boosting Medivacs here. It's over. GG.
GG. Game for Nesty, game for LGIM, taking the lead with a 2-1 against HoSeo.
Crisp play from Nesty, very unique style. The most exciting part of it to me was the Overseers that he made.
Yeah, he used them later in the game. Would have been much cooler to see them early on, but thanks to Jakji's Viking, we didn't see that.
It's one of those things where it just works with the Roach drop so well.
I mean,
it's not worth it otherwise gas-wise to make that many.
You know that your opponent is in a clock to get the defense out in time. You know that he can get Marauders, and you know that he can get Siege Tanks. With a Contaminate, you can actually just screw up his timing so much that when your attack comes in, he doesn't have anything to defend against it. So the thought process behind this was just beautiful.
I think it's time for ZVZ with Sanai, try to get his confidence back up. Something like that. Jakji looks a little bit crushed. We saw a shot of him briefly earlier. He even still looks a little bit upset about that loss. Nesty, though, still on top of his game, getting older, but not getting any worse at his skills, man. He's just always one of those innovators, one of those players who's always got that cool strategy.
Yeah, definitely well played here by him. But of course, now we have once again the situation where HoSeo already lost Mad Bull, and they lost Jakji. And those are their most successful players this season. Doesn't really say a lot when you are on the HoSeo lineup, because basically what happens to them 9 out of 10 times is they get all killed. Sorry. But the most successful players for them.
The truth hurts, and right now the HoSeo coach is hurting. He looks a little bit shaky there on the booth, and I mean not on the booth, on the bench. You know, I feel, you know, if they put the pride aside, now is the time to show some of these newer players, some of the players who don't have as much exposure, because for them, they are out. There is no chance. They cannot actually get into the playoffs. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah, I think technically there would be a chance, but no. Not without them suddenly turning things around by 180 degrees.
And then the certain other teams losing in certain ways. And even then, I'm not even sure. They have -13.
I'm okay with seeing Sanai. I would love to see someone like Tibble that we've seen in the preseason. I said it before, I just don't want to see Tessida today.
Exactly.
Nothing against Tessida, but he has the experience already. He just needs to step up his game. That's something that he could do, we could see today. But why not just send out a few players that need the experience in the booth? Also because we have now the Code A qualifier once again coming up, so giving them a little bit more experience and practice there in an offline environment that might just help them.
Exactly. Red City is the map, so
Sick.
could see some Protoss play on this map by Tessida perhaps, or Sting. You know, they're just missing some of their older players like Freaky, like Sculp, the players they really miss. Seal. Yeah, and it certainly shows, because those are the players, those are the innovators, the ones who did well in Code A and did well for them in the Team League. And now it's, I mean, it's a hard truth, but it's the truth. Their team is very weak right now. They have good players, but they fail to perform.
Yep. We said it in one of the last team matches. It's a very hard truth, but it's like this season, the main question is, who didn't all kill HoSeo?
Yeah.
And
right now, Nesty's like, I can still do it, don't worry.
Yeah. Come on. Sanai, okay. ZVZ, I like it.
Alright, see, this is what I want to see.
Yeah. If he loses, that's fine, but I love that they're sending out players that are a little bit newer to give them the experience. I like this choice. I won't blame Sanai for losing a match here, but I just like that the HoSeo coach is just looking at this and like, okay, come on. New players out there. Do something.
Sanai did play in the GSTL twice. The most recent one was a bit of a disaster, so hopefully he can keep his wits about him here as he plays against one of the most famous players in the entire world.
The last time he was facing a Protoss and his build didn't make any sense at all. It was like him falling apart there. It happens. It was the first time for him in the Gangnam studio, so it's okay. Let's just see what Sanaya can do today. He's up in the ZVZ against Nesty. And, well, as soon as we are back from another break, we will have this match between the two Zerg players. So, guys, stay tuned, and then we will have Sanaya versus Nesty at the GSTL 2013 Season 1.